Welcome to Already Overbooked. My name's Josh, and we have another weekly recap. Let's go through and talk about what happened between last week and this week. All right, so I'm going to jump in this, do something a little bit different. We're going to jump in and do a quick channel update and also life update at the same time because there's not a lot going on with either. So we'll put it all in one brand. The first thing from a channel update I did go through, you might have noticed, probably not. I redid my bookshelf behind me, reorganized it, trying to make it a little bit more sense from a genre perspective. So I went through and put all the same genre subgenres as best as I could into their togetherness and their grouping. So I did that. That was a lot of fun going through and figure out what format was going to work best for me and what looked aesthetically good. And that's the way I decided to go through and do it. I'll probably switch it up again very soon, but it happens. Um, Another thing from a channel life update, I've been doing a lot more bookbinding, which has been a lot of fun. I'm trying to decide what Cricut machine I should end up buying when I get to that point. So if you know anything about Cricut machines and have recommendations, let me know down in the comments below. It's going to be helpful because there's so many. I did go through and end up when I was working on the most recent book that I'm rebinding. I'll probably show it on the next week's video because I'm actually kind of impressed with how it's starting to come together. I just need to figure out the cover and what it's going to actually look like so I can draw it out. But I ended up going through and cutting myself pretty bad. Like it just kept bleeding and bleeding. So my kid, my youngest, put Paw Patrol. Let me use his Paw Patrol um, band aid to put on. So I have a Paw Patrol band aid on with his favorite character, Marshall, on here. Had to have Marshall because Marshall's the best. Um, what else is going on from a life update? We have my son is almost done with baseball. Very excited about that. School's almost finished. So we have been planning vacation ideas and kind of what we want to do during the summertime and what kind of vacation we want to do for the rest of the year. So we got some ideas mulling over of trying to what we want to go through. Do we just want to stay with normal beach trips that we do, or do we want to try something different? So ideas are getting mulled around and trying to decide. Once I know, I'll go through and tell you guys so I can get some ideas from all of you on things to do if we try to do something different. I always love to hear from all of you on some awesome recommendations and ideas. So that's all I have from a channel and life update. So let's just jump into what you're actually here for, book updates. So, what did I go through and read last week? I ended up going through and reading three different books. The first one I went through and read is Toothsucker by Caden Love. I did a review for this book on this past Monday. I'll put a link somewhere up here or even in the description below. But a quick synopsis of what this book's about. It's about a refugee that is forcibly implanted with tech that turns him into a non-human cybernetic that needs human teeth to fuel their new updated abilities. So it's crazy, it's horrific. There's a lot of body horror. So if you're looking for something different and you're okay with being a little bit squeamish when you go through and read a book, go through and check out Toothsucker. It's actually really good, very well written, and you get to hear all about the craziness that I felt about it if you go through and watch the video on Monday, which again, I'll put it somewhere around here. The next book I ended up reading was Wrath of Olympus. Wrath of Olympus throws you into a steampunk, myth punk, alternative history matchup where an orphan ends up living on a ship after they're accused of murder and possibly also tied to the gods themselves. Um, if you're a fan of like Percy Jackson, but want something a little bit grittier and more grown up, this may be for you. Is this book perfect? No, but the start does drag a little bit, but the world building it starts becoming fun, and once you start getting invested into the world, it has a fun, great vibe. It's very creative. It's very super unique. Um, Definitely go through and check out. And the covers look very cool for all these series. So it's a fun book. And so it was pretty short to go through and read. So definitely go through and check out Wrath of Olympus if you're looking for um, something a little bit different from a world building perspective. The other book I ended up going through and finishing was Crisscross by F. Paul Wilson. This go around, Repairman Jack takes on two fix it jobs in this one. One of them is a nun that's being blackmailed over a photos that were taken of them, which gets kind of dicey there for a nun. And another one is to locate a woman's son who's lost within a strange religious group. And Jack goes through and investigates these two, and we find out there's a lot of crossover between these two different jobs he's going through and working on. This one gets a little bit dark, a lot of fun, and it's kind of cool going through and seeing Jack go undercover to complete a job. So this one was definitely different and a fun read. So I'm excited to go through and jump into the next one next month. So that's all the books I've read. Let's jump into what I'm currently reading. So I'm currently reading one. We have Whispers of the Storm by Z.B. Steele. I'm about a fourth of the way through this, and so far it's about a boy who was abandoned by his father and trained to become a weapon in a ruthless society. That is very high level what this book's about. It is intriguing, it's different, and but there's a lot of tropes that you'll be very familiar with. I don't want to say too much. I want to see how the book goes through and continues. I'm hoping to have this done either this week or early next week, and then go through and let you know a little bit more details about what this book's about and if it's a book that's going to be worth spending your hard-earned money to go through and read, or um, or kind of pass. But I'll let you guys know probably next week or the week after. The next one is Rising Sun by Michael Crichton. I'm going to be starting this probably today after the kids' baseball game. And this is a buddy read that we're going to be doing in May 1st with a bunch of us, and super excited to go through and jump into this. After I finish reading this, I'm going to go through and probably watch the movie. So I have something to compare to during the live chat. If you've read Rising Sun, I'm really curious to hear your thoughts. I've heard mixed things about it. And if you watch the movie, let me know if the movie's actually worth my time to go through and watch, or just skip it and just stick with the book. So let me know. Really, really curious where you are. All right. Jumping into what did I buy, pre-order, or receive during this past week. Now, this is going to get big. I got a lot of books. I decided just to start throwing dollars around this month or this week. And it was a lot of good books. So super excited. The first book is An Arbiter's Gift by Matthew Wolfe. It involves around Ezra, who is 16, and they are at a school of magical wizards called Reavers. And unfortunately, Ezra is failing his studies extremely bad. On the verge of being kicked out, Ezra has little hope but to pass a final test of magic. However, the test soon becomes the least of Ezra's concern, as a nefarious woman kidnaps his childhood friend in a plot to seize immeasurable powers. At the same time, the city is slowly dying of thirst and people abandoned by those meant to protect them. Ezra, untalented and far out of his league, must find his spark of magic within himself to order to conquer a mythical maze of elemental magic, save a dying people, and rescue his kidnapped friend to become a legend he is destined to become. The next book I ended up going through and getting was Dead Station by Shannon Harper. I was sold as this book being The Walking Dead in space with a little bit of The Expanse. So I bought it. It was like 99 cents. So I went through and bought this immediately. I did not read the back. I just, The Walking Dead in space had me. So yeah, I ended up going through and getting it. So I'll let you know if it's worth that short description that was told to me. The next one I ended up getting was the Veil by E.H. Bradley. This is an art copy that E.H. sent me, so I'm very excited to go through and check this out. Let me tell you a little bit about what this book's about. They would have you believe, the police and the media, that I, Charlie McCall, and my friends were the deadliest killers since Manson and Bundy. That's only half true. Yes, we've killed, but to put us in the same category as those two I've just mentioned is wrong. A fallacy. For starters, they'd have to be human for us to be considered murderers, right? But what I'm about to tell you is nothing but the truth, the whole truth. As unbelievable as it may seem, let it stand as testimony to the brave deeds of the people who have fallen in our task, the people who have died trying to free you all from a prison of no walls. You'll have to bear with me on this journey, for you are to believe me. It's going to take time to unravel the illusion of what you believe to be normal, everyday lives. Sounds interesting. We'll see. We'll see how it is. I plan on starting it hopefully end of this month or next month. I'll go through and check out that book. The next is a Dave Lawson book, Envoys of War. And this book is about a bodyguard for the king's envoys. Jen is content with her life of traveling, drinking wine, and hitting things with her sword. It's the perfect job until the king sends her and her friend into war torn enemy territory on a mission to deliver vital military intelligence to an ally nation. The problem, the mission is a sham. Jen is tasked with determining if her friend is a spy who is selling information to the enemy. Sounds very intriguing and interesting. We'll go through and read that one. And the next one also is an art copy from Alex North, Man Made of Smoke. Dan's life has been haunted by the crime he witnessed as a child. Narrowing escape in an encounter with a notorious serial killer, he has dedicated his life since to become a criminal profiler, eager to seek justice for innocent victims. So, when his father passes away under suspicious circumstances, Dan revisits his small island community, determined to uncover the truth about his death. Is it possible that the monster he remembers from his childhood nightmares has returned after all these years? The next ebook that I received as an art copy was Chance Dillon's first book, Mercy Tears of the Fallen. This cover looks amazing. Super excited to go through and read this one. Let's jump in and talk about what this one's about. Mercy is for the fallen, a world shattered by war, a relic that can rewrite destiny, and two men, a hero and an exile, who might be the key to everything. Alvist Lightseeker was once a legend. His reward, betrayal and murder of all he held dear. Everin drinks to forget, but no amount of ale can quell his heart's desire to drive his blade through those who stole his future. A gifted minstrel carries a secret, the tale that binds the fallen hero and bitter exile together, a tale neither are ready to hear. Power and vengeance have a price, and in the war for the tears of the fallen, death follows from mercy. Whoo, that sounds sick. That sounds awesome. Super excited to go through and check that one out. That one sounds super epic, and that one's definitely going to get pushed up on my TBR. So let's jump into some of the physical books. Went through and I ended up getting 3 physical books. The first one is Cemetery House. This is book 2 of the Order of the Following series by Lee Hall. I'm super excited to go through and see what happens with the main characters, Twister and the gang, and see kind of where they lead. Based off of what the back says, I'm not going to go through and read the whole thing, But based off what I remember on the back, Twister is the main person who went through and kind of knew what was going on, helping the high school kids. Now, Twister needs to go back to where he's from, and things are chaotic and they're crazy and they're completely different from what he remembers. So we'll go through and see if Twister and the gang can go through and survive the cemetery house. And the next book I ended up going through and getting was also an art copy. And I've not opened it yet, so let's go through and open this and see what this looks like together. I think it'll be fun. So I'm going to toss that one over there. That'll be the last one. All right. So we got a nice card from AJ Calvin. Thank you so much, AJ. I appreciate the kind words. I'm also looking forward to AJ's also going to be on the channel in June, so it's going to be very fun to go through and have a conversation with AJ about her book. Got a cool sticker. Got a nice cool bookmark. And another bookmark and a card. So let's go through and open this up and take a look at the book the very first time together. So it should be fun. So the wrapping is done very well. So it's very cool. The presentation looks good. Let's jump in. Wow, look at this. Look at this. This book's a behemoth. So look at that. Wrath and the Revolution. Look at that cover. It looks so good. So good. All right, so let's go through and talk about what this book is about. So Kai Varix is trapped due to a fluke of genetics and decisions of the galaxy's elite and the lack of finances. He's stuck on his polluted and noxious home world indefinitely, and it's slowly killing him. Then his more fortunate sister returns one day, bringing the promise of salvation. Kelsey has always hoped to find the means to pull him out of his desperate cycle of survival, but it has taken years. Now, she has a plan. One that will cure his genetic condition and clear him for interstellar travel. The catch? He has to sign over his very existence and a portion of his humanity to a corporation's, the most prominent and notorious corporation, in exchange for the necessary treatment. Is this cure worth the cost? That sounds sick. So yeah, so this book is pretty thick. It's about 500-ish pages, so I'm super excited. 470. I'm super excited to go through and read Wrath of Revolution. I'm probably going to be starting this early next month because I want to take my time with this. I want to take a lot of good notes for my conversation with AJ coming out in June. So this is coming out in June also. So please make sure you go through, pre-order a copy, because look at this. This looks sick, and I'll be more than happy to go through and talk about it once I go through and read it. So thank you so much, AJ, for this art copy. And I'm super excited to go through and read it. So the last book I ended up going through and getting was Galaxy's Edge Legionnaire by Jason Anpatch and Nick Cole. There's like 23 books in this series, but this is everything I've read online. This is the first book everyone should go through and check out. So this book is, so let's jump into what this book is about. Stranded behind enemy lines, a sergeant must lead a band of survivors against mercenary insurgents on a deadly alien world somewhere along the galaxy's edge. With no room for error, the Republic, elite's fighting force, must struggle to survive under siege while waiting on a rescue that might never come. So I'm very excited to jump into this. Again, I think there's 20 plus books in this series. I'm always looking for something different that's a bigger, thicker series that should be quick, easy palate cleansers to go through and read between some of these other bigger books. So I'm very excited to jump in to Galaxy's Edge, and hopefully this will be right up my alley. Then I'll start ordering each of these books one by one and have some fun with them. So if you've read any Galaxy's Edge, let me know. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this amazing series. All right, so let's jump into what is happening next week. So next week's going to be a little bit different. Monday, we're going to have our one sentence review because on Tuesday, I have a live author interview with the great Gregory Amato. We're going to be going through and talking about book 3 of a series and just chit chatting again. We had a conversation at the start of the channel. He was my first author interview. So we're going to be rolling it back and having a bigger conversation. We dive in a little bit deeper to his writing styles and a little bit more about him. So it should be a lot of fun. You're not going to want to miss out. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday. Wednesday, I'm going to be doing the Clatterman review. This was an art copy that I went through and received, and I really enjoyed this book. Horror elements in a cabin. I'm going to go through and jump in a lot more details on Wednesday. The book cover reveal, I think Janelle's going to be doing that on Tuesday. So Wednesday, the review will be ready to go, and it should be a lot of fun. So you're not going to want to miss that one. On Thursday, we have another one sentence review, and then Friday, we're doing another weekly recap. So you're not going to want to miss this amazing week next week. So definitely stick around. And let's jump now into the final two items, the Indie Author Spotlight and the Booktuber Spotlight. So this week's Indie Author Spotlight, Ryan Lands. He is the author of the Red Kingdom series. This book series has been getting a lot of love based off of the awesome premise of a bounty hunter um, who is brought in to subdue the rebels outside the city. This is supposed to be an amazing series. I've not had the opportunity to go through and read this series yet, but I've been hearing nothing but great things. It's on my TBR, so go through and check out Ryan Lance's Red Kingdom series. I think there's 5 so far in the series. It's fantastic from everything that I hear. The next one is the Booktuber Spotlight. For this week, I had to go through and give it to someone who I not only can call a friend, but someone who does amazing interviews, arguably the best interviewer on BookTube, and that is Grifton. Grifton is amazing. He has been around BookTube for a little while, and he has so much insights and so much knowledge to go through and share. Highly recommend if you're into author interviews with high level authors, and Grifton does an amazing job. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe. You know what to do. Till I see you in the next one.